Be an awesome run to see. Very broken game. There will be glitches on almost every single screen of this game. It will be an amazing run to watch, so please do not go anywhere. While we're working on setup here, we might mention we are sponsored by TinyBuild. TinyBuild is an indie developer and publisher known for games like Speedrunners, Divide by Sheep, and Lovely Planet. Just released No Time to Explain on Steam and Xbox One, supporting and working with indie developers from around the world. Follow them on Twitter at TinyBuild.
Huh. That's weird.
While they're working on that sound issue, we'll give a quick donation here. We got $50 from Freya Daughter, who says, thank you to all the runners, organizers, and staff for their hard work and being willing to give their time to make all this entertainment for the benefit of others.
Yeah, I'm fine with this setup. Yeah, that's good.
I hear myself. I'm fine. I don't hear myself. I don't hear myself. But I'm fine. Oh, okay, there we go.
Testing, 1, 2. Yeah, you got louder.
Yeah, you got loud in myself now.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing. Oh, there I am.
Yeah.
Yo, what up?
Yeah, we good. All right, now we good.
Yes.
Yeah, we got it.
There's no reason. Yeah, Yeah, it's all. Yeah, that's good.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go whenever you guys are. Shouts to Poochie Darcy for letting me borrow his PS2 that is not messed up like mine. Okay, I'll go ahead and give a countdown from 3. So, 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So what's up? Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, I'm spikevegeta, and this is Rayman 1. So 2.5 years ago, I did this at HDQ 2013, and the best way I can describe that run was it was a well-informed, fast Let's Play, and I hope to actually give you guys something closer to like a speed run now. Also, Rayman gets very excited when he reaches exit signs, so you're going to be hearing "yeah" quite a bit throughout this. So over the last, I would say, year and a half, it was about January of last year, this game got busted open, particularly by the European community. Quick shout-outs to all of you watching me from the Skype group right now. People like Ferkter, Dextera, who are the top 2 runners of this game in the world. Make sure I get this. All right, good enough. People like Shoteru, who's actually made a guide to this game, if you want to speedrun it. Follow him on YouTube at Shoteru Speedruns. And other people like Scrimpe and Go10 with Ferkter, who are actually making the task right now, which is going to be pretty insane. So in terms of the structure of the game itself, you start off not being able to do much at all. You can walk, you can jump, you can taunt enemies, which I'll try to show at a few points, but obviously it wastes time now. Right there, we just learned the ability to punch, the first of 5 abilities. And I guess needless to say, punch is pretty important in this game to do anything. So like right here, you see I've just broke open this cage of Electoons, which are the little things you have to save throughout the game. A lot of people ask when they come into the run, why, so is this like a 100% run? Do you have to save all of them? And in reality, yes, you actually have to save all of them in order to beat the game at all. There are 102 cages, 6 in each of 17 different levels, and you don't gain access to the final level unless you find all of them. All right, so right here, I'm going to try to walk about 1 to 2 pixels off this platform. That allows you to do a little bit of an air jump and get over that bullet as it's coming across. To note, if you miss that cage, it doesn't matter. Because we're actually going to have to revisit the stage, because you'll notice I missed 3 cages. They were earlier in the level before we had the punch ability. So, but that's okay, because once we get all of our power-ups, we'll come back and revisit a few of these levels I'm not grabbing everything on, and it'll be much faster. For now, you're just trying to kind of get through the chunk of the game where you don't have a lot of movement options.
While also getting all the Electoons in the areas you can.
Right.
One thing to note about this game is that a lot of the cages and some of the enemies and various other parts of the game spawn.
Got it.
Nice. That's actually about a 3-pixel window, I think.
Yeah, the hunter's hitbox is gigantic when his hand is up. The safe strat is obviously just waiting for him to put his hand down because he gets like half the size of his hitbox. But
yeah, so it just a lot of different things spawn by touching an invisible portion of the screen, or just touching an invisible hitbox, basically. There's no real hint for it other than an audio cue. So if you ever see Spike moving to somewhere that looks incredibly random, it's actually probably to spawn something.
Yeah, you see a lot of that in the upcoming auto-scroller right after this screen, that it's going to look like things are just going to appear out of nowhere, and it's by me touching these like really arbitrary points on the screen. We're going to lose a little bit of time there. That's fine. That, like, I'm trying to time that last punch for him to be basically right on top of me, because he'll juke you if you miss it otherwise, but that's fine. A few seconds lost there. So, Rayman logic, we just beat the crap out of this guy, and now we are apparently best friends. So, cool.
Oh, he was crying, and you pat him on the back, and now he's all happy, so.
In general, the aesthetics of this game, like, I remember playing this game when I was, I guess, like 8 when it came out in '95. So, people who are good at math. See, right there, I just spawned that one up just by touching this arbitrary point on the screen. But it's got the aesthetics of, like, a 4-year-old's game, and in reality, like, nobody beat this game when they were a kid. Mainly because of all these arbitrary spots that you don't know spawn stuff. To note about this auto-scroller, so it might just seem like, oh, okay, auto-scroller, whatever. There's actually, like, if you don't do this the way I'm doing it, you're going to lose about, like, 10 seconds in the auto-scroller. And that's because, as you can see right there, the screen's sped up. It's got, like, 3 different speeds. I'm also going to be at the front of the screen, and I'm going to speed up now. Now I'm actually going to pull back, because it's not camera-based, the speed of the auto-scroller. It's based on Rayman's position. So right there you saw I hung back as far as I could, and then once the screen slowed down, I moved back to the front of the screen to hit the trigger to speed it back up. So effectively what you're doing is you're elongating the fast parts of the auto-scroller, and you're shortening the slow parts of the auto-scroller. So I remember, I didn't know about that when I first started running the game, and I was like, why am I losing like 10 seconds on this auto-scroller? And finally you look at the position, it makes sense. And here we get the most OP ability in any game, the ability to hang.
Very important.
Very odd that it's not already in the game.
Right.
It's pretty funny some of the stuff it does restrict you from. Like, we'll get the ability to run later on and a couple other stuff that you would normally kind of start with, but Rayman kind of holds those for just a little bit to, I guess, get you used to the game a little bit and kind of restrict you a little bit in getting those Electoons. So a lot of the cool rooting in this game comes from getting to those Electoon cages without all the power-ups you're supposed to have to get them.
From here, we've got an auto-scroller that we can't really speed up, so I try to just plant as many of these seeds as I can. People always wonder, like, is there a reason why you're dropping all the seeds? I'm just screwing around. A little technique that I haven't explained yet is that I'm going to be using jump punches everywhere, because for whatever reason, I guess we'll say it's an intended mechanic, I don't know. But you get double the power and double the length on your fists every time you do. I say jump punch, but it's more accurate to call it an air punch, because you can just like fall off of something and that's going to be like extra power and extra distance as well. It's not actually the act of jumping that doubles it. But from here, it's just optimizing getting to the end of the screen. So I'll let you go ahead and read a donation real quick before we get to the next tough screen.
All right, we have $30 from the Pitman, who says GDQ is one of the most fun things to watch. Power to all the players that do the runs. Keep up the great work, everyone.
All right, so this next screen is the first, actually really difficult part of the screen. There's a lot of things that are not intended I'll be doing here, including landing on these tiny platforms to kill these enemies. Normally, they want you to knock down all those plums to, knock it onto their heads and then walk across. You're also supposed to use that plum right there, kill all those enemies, and then ride that across. But instead, we're going to just put this plum in the water and ride it backwards. So that's what J-Hobbs is talking about, how you just touch this arbitrary point on the screen and it spawns a cage. And not just cages, it'll also spawn enemies, platforms, other things you need to get places.
And to note about these plums, the way they work is actually based on the direction Rayman is facing. That is the direction they'll move. So as long as he's on the plum, it takes about, I think you said, a second and a half for it to start moving initially. And then he just has to be facing the correct direction.
Mm-hmm. Climbing vines in this game is very slow, so instead I'm just going to jump.
And that spawns a cage.
Yeah.
A lot of this game has kind of very hidden or kind of like anti-game patterns where you can't tell if something's in the background or the foreground.
That was really good.
That was really good.
So this game, thankfully, has very little actual RNG in the game, but that's an element of practical RNG. Okay, cool, we got that punch. I wanted to throw the punch right before I landed so I could hit the top of that cage's hitbox before I hit the ground. Because if I hit the ground and then I punched, it would have not reached the cage, and then I would have had to take a slower route to the end.
Right. As he was saying on RNG, there's no real RNG, but those plums, any slight angle change completely changes how those move, and you really can't control what parts of the stage those plums hit. So there are times he'll do it and it'll start to slide and he'll get no speed. There's other times where he'll go too fast and he won't actually bounce in this position where he can jump onto that platform. And there's a lot of little instances where plums can just do really weird things.
Yeah, and when he's moving down a slope with those plums and punching backwards, you might think, why is he just punching the ground backwards? He's actually punching and then ducking so that the fist hits the plum on the way back, which increases his speed slightly.
Yeah, since obviously, to note, you do run eventually in this game. Make sure I don't get that guy. Cool. You do run eventually in this game, but it's not for about a half hour. So, or I guess a lot less at this point. But so you kind of have to come up with these creative other ways to move faster in this game. So I can catch this, 2, 3. No, okay. If you bounce correctly there off the plum, which again is kind of wonky to get, then you actually can skip up to that platform, saving a few seconds, but not a big deal. Again, using the plum to speed myself up instead of just slowly walking across all those enemies, which they normally want you to kill anyways.
Plum didn't fall in the water too, which was nice.
Yeah. Didn't die. All right, now speaking of didn't die, we really, really, really don't want to die on this screen right here. So, for like fist power-up reasons. So we'll see what happens. I need a specific setup. Okay, I think that's good. I'm paying attention to how long I held onto that platform there.
This is a really tough one cycle. If he doesn't like it, he's probably going to just hold up, I would think.
Yeah, we're going to have to hold up here. It's about basically elongating the amount of time you're on the moving platforms here, the lily pads. Because then that's just going to move you across the screen a little faster than your normal walking speed. That's okay, again, just a few seconds. The biggest thing in the forest, like I'm known to lose a lot of runs here in the forest because you do go for a lot of these tight things. For the purpose of this, I really just kind of want to get through the forest because the game honestly gets a lot more interesting once you get out of here.
Yeah, and to note about some of the basic mechanics, I guess we haven't gone over yet in the game, you can pick up these fist power-ups, Spike just grabbed one right now, that will allow you to kind of stack them up to 3 and increase the, I believe, damage and
the
distance.
Damage, the speed, and the distance. When I say speed, when you recoil off of them, when you throw a fist, it comes back to you faster, which actually matters quite a bit for a couple tricks later in the run. All right, plum RNG, what happens? You're going to have to punch it. Yeah, it's going to go over the other side.
That's unfortunate. If
Yeah.
he gets really lucky, it'll fall right down onto that next slope and come backwards.
So to note on those power-ups, dying in this game is actually really punishing. If Spike dies, which he will do a couple times intentionally, but
Actually, quite a bit intentionally.
Yeah.
There's like 10 or 12 intentional deaths we take.
And maybe a few unintentionally, though. It's a hard time about.
Yeah, we'll see.
he's going to lose his health power-up. So right now he has 5 hearts, but that's because he got a power-up. Normally he'd only have 3. He's going to lose one of his fist power-ups. He's going to lose all of his blue tings. With 100 tings, you get an extra life. So dying in this game is actually really punishing in that it basically removes distance on your fist, removes health that you're going to have on your next life, and you don't get another life faster. So
Yeah, the bigger thing when you die is just losing your health because in addition to death abusing, we use a lot of damage boosts as well. Here, if I move too fast, if I'm like right up against the edge of the screen, you actually walk up and just die because jumping on these vines, like bouncing off of them, actually, or like you can kind of tell it's moving me forward a few pixels. So if you're right up against the edge of the screen and then you grab that vine and shoot, you actually void out and die because it hasn't loaded that part of the screen yet. This is kind of a throwaway screen also if you want to go ahead and read another quick donation before we get to the boss.
All right, we got $25 from Annihilator. Says, "Hey Spike, best of luck to you and all the other runners this week on your games and putting on another amazing show as always."
Nick, thanks, buddy. Sad you couldn't be here this year. All right, so this is the first major boss of the game. Biz or the boss. Well, the Mosquito boss. I don't know the lore. The lore we made up, so you might wonder, like, didn't we just fight this guy? So, what the story we made up, because we don't know. I don't think Ubisoft cares about the lore of the series, but whatever. Is that this one's red, so we're gonna say that he's like the big bad guy. He's like the leader of the Mosquitoes. And the little blue guy or purple guy that you wrote earlier, he became your friend. And you saw when he was carrying that big spike 2 screens ago that, okay, he must like, he's being controlled by him, that you have to like, that he's now forced to end up fighting you and trying to kill you with the big plum. In terms of this fight itself, all of it is based on my position, what sort of attacks he's doing, where I want to hit him. And again, this, just like the first Mosquito boss, the whole fight, I'm trying to base it off of getting him to take the least distance possible to get up to that top center of the screen. So, you saw me, I actually wasted a hit back there. I like just let him fly by. It's to make him do that, where he just does two quick hitters right in a row. Also shouts to hitboxes.
And one thing to note about this game is that the bosses are only vulnerable at certain times, but it's very hard to tell when they're vulnerable. So there might be a lot of times where it looks like, okay, well, why aren't you just punching the boss right now? And they're most likely, the answer is that they're actually not vulnerable. With this guy, it's a little bit easier to tell because he was kind of too high on the screen for you to hit him. But for some of the later bosses, you'll see it's pretty obvious that they must be invulnerable, or Spike would probably be hitting them.
Right. all those hits where you could see his like nose sticking in on screen, I was not hitting him there because you want him to actually come on screen a little bit because it's just he moves up a little faster to the screen. It's slightly faster. Right there, I hit him as soon as his hitbox was available on the edge of the screen because he doesn't go up to the top center as you saw. He just went straight up, so you can just hit that as soon as you can. Now I'm actually going to take a few seconds here just to show ring physics the way it was for years when we were playing the game, until we found a technique that we lovingly call Fruit Loop boosting, because these things look like Fruit Loops. So here's what it normally looks like. So we're just kind of going along, you're swinging along. Oh, that's garbage though, that's real slow. So instead, if you hold up and you let go of these at a certain time, you can see already you're gaining a lot more speed. Now that by itself obviously does not make you go a lot faster, but in conjunction with two other abilities we're going to get pretty soon, those being the hover ability and the run ability, we'll be able to gain some major distance and major speed off of them, allowing for some unintended breaks, which we'll actually see right here in this next level. All right, so for whatever reason, I'm holding the jump button. You actually just maintain more height as you're coming off of that platform, which allows you to completely skip like half of this screen and get up to that cage in time. Because normally you come up just short and you just die. Now we have icy physics platforms.
This game has one of my favorite sets of ice physics in a speedrun. It's just like the way it speeds up Rayman is just really cool to watch. So,
Yeah, I love to tell Spike this is the point of the game where he starts going fast because this is a speedrun and he should be doing that.
We're going fast. All right. All right, so this next screen has one of the hardest tricks in the game, but it saves about 25 seconds to get up to this cage. There's a very specific setup to it, so I'm going to stay quiet for it. There's basically just a lot of ways it can mess up. If I do this a little too early, I die. If I do it a little too late, then I bonk and I lose the trick. Got it.
Got
Okay,
it.
sick.
Nice.
That was found in, was it this year? I don't know. Like, so many little tricks and optimizations have been found in the last year and a half. Okay, that's like a super scary jump, by the way. Because you were like there's some jumps in this game you just feel like, kind of going back to like what Whitwix was saying at HGQ about Solgren, how it was just like, all right, did it once, nailed it. Like there's so many jumps in here you feel like that's the case. There's one that is literally like a frame perfect trick you have to do in order to actually accomplish it.
And
it's amazing this game is actually beatable.
And it's actually the intended way of doing it too.
Right.
It's pretty ridiculous.
All right, let's have good balls. Yep, good enough balls.
Not bad.
Why'd you say that?
So you saw Spike save earlier. It was actually so he could do a death abuse here as soon as he grabbed that cage.
Joke. All right.
So you see in the top left, his health actually went from 5 to 3 now.
My tings went from 0, or from whatever they were, to 0. Also, right here, this is probably one of my favorite parts of the run. Let's see if I can hit it. This game's just a little bit like Rayman, or like Mega Man. Yeah!
In other words, there are no 2D platformers without zips.
Yeah. Rayman's hitbox, as well as kind of a lot of the hitboxes in this game, is really weird, and it's actually very narrow, so he can kind of push himself into walls sometimes, and that's how that zip works out.
Yeah, there are a couple other places where being able to push my tiny hitbox into walls are going to help quite a bit. All right, so here, this is the biggest trick in the game. It saves 3 minutes, as mundane as it looks. All right, let's get set up for this. I need to make sure. Okay, cool. So as mundane as that might have looked, that was using the Fruit Loop boosting, which again, if I hold up and I let go at the right angle, you're basically thinking of it as like 5 o'clock or 7 o'clock if you're thinking of like a clock hand. I'm able to get this insane speed over there. Normally they intend for you to have the hover ability or the run ability or something else. Oh, what am I doing? That's fine. I was thinking about that trick. Okay. Here I need to walk off a pixel. All right, I should have been doing that for both of them. But I was thinking about talking. Punch, sick, punch. All right.
Rayman can kind of just barely walk off of platforms before jumping.
Yeah.
And it'll still let you jump, no problem.
It's got a pretty clear visual cue of when he starts to fall down. You can do effectively like an air jump. Also, here's another little sequence break. If you jump off the very top of the start of those rotating bongos, you're able to get over here, which you're not supposed to get to. You're supposed to actually turn into Tiny Rayman, which you're supposed to use like halfway through this level. But instead, we just go over here. I need to get a very, like, as tiny a jump as possible here. Otherwise, your iframes, you can see, just runs out, and then you just keep getting ejected, and you die eventually.
Again, hitboxes are weird.
Yeah. So again, we're using a death abuse because actually from there it's impossible to get back over. So instead we just do this. But yeah, to talk about that damage or the trick I did on the screen before that, where I Fruit Loop boosted over to the cage, for that cage alone, that was the only one you could not get to no matter what. Like, you had to play the level a second time, which, as you can see, this level's pretty long. It ends up being like 3 minutes. So when that sequence break was found, it was actually first conceived when I watched Mecha Richter doing a blind playthrough of this. And Mecha was like, I feel like you can get over there. And I was like, I don't know, man. And then we found all these different, like, it went through so many transformations. There was one point where there was like a triple frame perfect trick you had to do to like lure a lightning bolt up there. And then you like just hang off the side and then like it boosts you over and you can like barely catch the edge. But thankfully now that Fruit Loop boosting was found, it like trivialized it quite a bit. And it wasn't just Fruit Loop boosting. I'm using 2 techniques there. The other technique being called tether boosting, where you saw like I was basically as far away from the Fruit Loop as I could be before I punched it, which made my tether or my rope as long as it could possibly be, which also gives you a more violent swing. You're basically kind of tricking the game into thinking you already have the run ability, so you get run speed off of it.
One thing to note is that these exit signs to finish the level, their hitbox is basically right on the ground or right about where the sign is. So
yeah, to the left and the right going down, yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty small, and there's a lot of cases where you're supposed to jump over it to go get a cage that you wouldn't really know until later when you didn't have all the cages.
It's pretty cruel, actually. This game is actually it's kind of evil in that regard.
We'll see some cages later on that are right next to the exit sign, but you need to kind of stand right next to it to spawn them. And you'll see there's a lot of cases where you normally have to backtrack through an entire auto-scroller just to get one cage.
Right. Yeah, people always describe this game as super difficult. I think the more accurate term is just that I like Ghoul's term, unfair, or just like
Cryptic.
Cryptic, yeah. Those are both good words for it. So this is one of my favorite levels in the run, Allegro Presto. It's just full of ice physics. And I want to hit as much of a downslope as I can get so I can maintain as much speed as possible.
This is where you really get to see this game as a speed game.
And recoil. Hit that slope, duck, crawl back so I can actually hit this instead of falling down. Because if you have too much speed, you can't get it. All right. Here, this is like the trolliest jump in the game, I swear. Sometimes you just don't end up getting up on this ledge. So get it. Hit the slope, so that's good. Whew. Okay.
Nice.
We got the thing. Okay, that thing's stupid. All right, now I'm going to try to pull back here, jump up, pull back now, land in there, throw that, turn around, already land up here. And we're going to try to end with a clip here. I've got a little bit of speed. Probably not going to get it. Yeah, not going to get it. Okay. If you need to make sure you have like 0 speed there, I was a little too far left, but you can clip through. You notice the slide platforms or whatever you want to call them. There's little points where they start to angle up, and you can actually clip through there if you do a specific jump at a specific time. For this screen, I'll just kind of let it, I don't know, describe itself.
The horns push you.
Okay, that's good. I want to jump at a specific time here. I got the good boost, all right? And probably the hardest part of the screen is right here, not losing momentum. Okay, got it. Nice. All right. Yeah, that's actually a lot harder than it looks. Basically, if I jump a little too early there, I end up slamming into those spikes, and it just kills all my momentum. Or if I go on the ground there, which is easy to do, then I only get 1 damage. By the way, your midair movement in this game is absolute trash. So.
Yeah, so right there again, spawning another cage by moving slightly off screen. They intend for you to jump onto that platform, but it would then fall, and so it's a lot faster for him to just hit the spawn point.
You see, I have to route out like where on each of these slopes I land in order to gain as much speed as possible, because obviously going up slope also kills your momentum. So it's important to route out where you drop onto things. Can I keep momentum here? Nope. If I like just walk off the edge of that without stopping, then you can carry that momentum into Tiny Rayman. There's thankfully only like 30 seconds or so, maybe close to a minute's worth of Tiny Rayman in this game at this point in the run.
Yeah, they keep trying to cut out it everywhere they can because Tiny Rayman is pretty terrible. Why don't you explain why Tiny Rayman is so bad, Spike?
It's trash. Because he's tiny. Different physics. Okay, we got up here. Doesn't matter. And yeah! Okay, we made it. Okay, sorry. And one more of those. Basically, Tiny Rayman is just super slow. I want to try to make sure to get this slope here that lands you perfectly on the cloud. Now I'm going to land. What they intend for you to do is go up to that platform I'm on right now, which spawns the cloud, and then jump up on the cloud, which spawns the exit sign. But if you just jump out there, you can skip those steps. I'm going to try to do a clip here just by walking into this, then walking back over. I need to make sure I don't take damage here. Good. Walk up here to get a little bit of speed. We're then going to use a big recoil boost here. I'm trying to jump up slopes. Don't clip this idiot. Okay, sick. Now we turn around here, slowing us down just enough, then turn back around here for another recoil boost, sending us real fast. Don't run into this guy's hitbox. You want to land on the ground because obviously the knockback would make it to where you have just not enough iframes to get all the way through him.
Yeah, so every enemy and kind of move in this game gives you a different amount of iframes, which are invincibility frames if you're not familiar with the term. And so some of them, they might give you a few frames of invincibility, where others might give you like 2 seconds. So he's actually making sure when he takes these damage boosts, he's getting hit in very specific spots by very specific enemies.
Yeah. Ding. So now we got the helicopter ability. And you might automatically think, like if you're familiar with modern Rayman, or just in general, you think the helicopter would be slow. It actually maintains all of your momentum. So if I'm running and I jump and I helicopter, it's fine to helicopter there. It's only dropping out of a helicopter, which has its own technique to avoid that. Okay, cool. So you're starting to see, in conjunction with the the Fruit Loop boosting, and then also having the helicopter, you can gain insane distance and maintain a lot of speed. Whoa, bleh. Cool.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. That's an unnecessary health.
So we're getting closer and closer to the part of the game where you're going to really want to pay attention to how much health Spike has at any given moment.
Yeah, you might have noticed there at the beginning of that level, I came in with 2 health, and I timed it to where I got my ting life up. Not needed. Okay.
Okay.
That guy's a guy. All right.
But yeah, it becomes very, very easy to die in this game, and once you die, you drop back down to 3 health, so it can become very easy to death cycle in this game.
Right.
And Spike has to do a lot of damage boosting, so he really has to keep track of his health.
Yeah, you're going to see a couple of damage boosts at the end of this screen. So again, you would think auto-scroller, probably like not much in the way of optimization. So we can get it? Oh, okay. So we're going to have to let him go by here. That's fine. That's a few seconds. I basically hit the edge of the screen. That was auto-scrolling. That's fine. That's the smaller damage boost. The big one's coming up. There's a 1-up right there. I'm actually not going to grab it because I want to be on low health for a death abuse in the next screen. So I'm going to hold down here and jump, which is going to automatically boost me. Hold that. Okay, we're going to have to grab right there. And you can see I was able to get a flip off of that. That sent me pretty far. I had to pull up a little short there because I bonked the ceiling. If I had done that, I could have swooped right underneath it and got to the next platform. But yeah, that's okay. We'll have a lot more instances of Fruit Loop boosting. And you notice right there, it might have looked like I just missed the ring that I was flinging off of. I actually wanted to effectively throw it. You'll see at the end of this screen as well. I wanted to intentionally miss it overhead and then pull as far diagonally away from it as I could. So then it was as long as possible to get as violent a fling as I could. So again, intentional death abuse there. I like to drop down to 2 health before I get to this screen, which is easy because the last screen is an auto-scroller and you're taking damage boosts anyways. For whatever reason, there's a couple of screens in this game that have alternate exits, this being one of them, and the alternate exit here is very, very fast, so we're going to be using it.
Hitboxes. Just move right through the spikes. You'll see actually Spike will do that a few different times where he'll just move directly through things, and it's just generally because Rayman's got a weird hitbox.
This game is also very well programmed as well.
So those some of these clouds actually are bouncy clouds, while others are just regular platforms. The bouncy ones, if Spike hovers over them, he can actually get kind of the max height without having to bounce multiple times.
Yeah, you'll see it particularly coming up in the next screen. I'm going to be utilizing that technique a couple of times. Should probably play it safe here. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to take that hit. You can still do the next part optimally, but J-Hop, should I babby it?
No.
Okay. Again, throw that right before I hit the ground so then I don't have to charge up my fist. All right, we won't babby it because J-Hop said it. If I die, it's your fault.
Of course. Ooh.
His fault. All right. I basically let go of that just a little bit too early. Normally, you have 3 health there, so that's a little easier to get through, but that's fine.
Now, as punishing as deaths can be in this game, they actually don't remove your cage progress, which is kind of interesting. They kind of remove everything else, but you still collected the cages that you collected. So, it's really weird that he died there unintentionally, obviously, but he didn't have to go pick up the cage, so he was able to skip about half of what he had already done in the level.
You'll see right there was another one of those health power-ups, so he's back at 5 health. This is one of my favorite parts of the game. This is like a 3-second auto-scroller.
Yeah.
And we don't know why it is. The only theory we have for why this might be is that there's something that has to load. And if that wasn't an auto-scroller, you would go there too fast and the game would crash or something. And that was the only way they could think to give it time to load or something. It's really funny, actually. So there's another one right here for some reason.
Yeah, I know Marsh Fighter Paladin, a good friend of mine, he was trying to theory craft why that is the case. But yeah, his theory was just there's something above or below the screen, that there's weird screen tearing, screen wrapping. They thought, oh, just make it an auto scroller. Sure, sounds good. So backwards damage boost there, so you don't have to wait for that idiot.
Yeah, with a lot of these damage boosts, you'll see Spike kind of turn Rayman right before he takes the damage, and it's just so he's getting hit in the right direction.
Yeah, it's just a little bit of an optimization. So.
You were speaking of March earlier. We actually got a $50 donation from him.
Heck yeah, dude.
Saying that he said, hey Spike, good luck on the run. Wish I could have been there to help commentate. See you in January. Money toward the secret level in Dust Force because that thing is disgustingly hard.
Thank you, Marsh. Hope you're doing well, buddy. We're going to play it safe here. You can land on, just a couple of pixels on the left side, and that spike actually won't hurt you. Also, this is another intended death abuse. It's seems a little out of the way for me to do it the way I did, but effectively, I think that saves, it's either 4 or 8 seconds, I don't remember exactly. But just doing it like that, oh. And again.
That was interesting interaction.
Yeah,
My bad.
Okay.
Yeah, the bouncy clouds are probably, I love you, Michael Ansel and crew, but it's probably the worst implemented part of this game. It makes no sense. However, for whatever reason, like J-Hobbs was talking about, if I hover right before I land on it, then I automatically get max height. So we just do that now, as opposed to just looking like idiots and getting different heights every time and missing jumps 80 times. Also right here, I'm going to throw my fist and then fall down, actually spawning that cage. And again, on the recoil or on the boomerang physics, effectively of a fist, it'll take care of that because its hurt box is active the entire time, the entire way back to Rayman. So, all right, so this is the level. Get hype, everyone. I'm about to start running. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's very odd that the very last power-up they give you in the game is to run.
Mm-hmm. Our kind of thought on that was that they tried to kind of restrict how many cages you get to, and the idea is that one of the more useful power-ups for getting cages is actually to run. So they intended a lot more backtracking, but since we have all these stuff that's not really intended, like Fruit Loop boosting and all these damage boosts to sneak in areas you're not supposed to be, we're able to get to a lot of cages we're not supposed to. But we're instead of doing all this backtracking, so.
Yeah, and before running, we just got the power-up to be able to actually use the helicopter move to move up and down. So before, the helicopter move only lasted a certain amount of time, but now it's actually infinite, and you can obviously keep mashing the button to move higher.
Yeah, and to note, it's not an ability that stays. It's not a permanent ability or anything.
It's level dependent.
Yeah.
So he compares this a lot to, you guys know Bramble Scramble from Donkey Kong Country 2 where you mash and he goes up. So Spike is over here mashing furiously to make Rayman go up as fast as possible.
It's fastest to move up and to the right. I'm taking a little bit of damage here. I might grab a 1-up at the end. Like, this is the kind of screen that when one thing goes wrong, all the timing gets knocked off. And I got hit kind of early on. That's okay. We'll work through it.
Once again, these hitboxes are very wonky, so there's a lot of spots where it looks like he should get hit and he doesn't, or it looks like he definitely shouldn't have gotten hit and he will. So it might seem like he's taking things super safe, but it's probably to avoid 10 pixels of hitbox that shouldn't be there.
The technique you end up using there is moving up and to the right while mashing will actually move you like forward the fastest. And if you want to drop down, then you actually don't want to just let go of the button. You want to punch because that completely cancels it. And it cancels out a little bit of just slow movement actually dropping down. Also, this is another screen that's super evil the first time you play it because you have no idea what you're supposed to be doing here. And you see, like, I know what I'm doing, and I'm still, like, barely going to get this.
Yeah, so basically what he's doing is he's using his hair as like a saw to cut those ropes. But the game doesn't tell you to do that, so most people, when they get here the first time, just like, and then just like fall in the water or like do nothing and they get crushed.
Yeah, I like that there's no audio cue or anything either. Pretty much the only hint they give you is that little bit of smoke that appears.
Did I get it? Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Cool
Rayman's fist
can
can move off the screen, so he was just throwing it at max length there to be able to move off the screen and let the recoil hit it.
Yeah, and again, it's boomerang physics. It's going to follow you back wherever you go. That's how a boomerang works, right?
Sure.
Sure. All right, so you see there's a couple damage boosts right here. This is one of the last, I think there's only 2 more auto-scrollers, thankfully, in the run after this. So I'll go ahead and kick it over to Cosmic if you want to read it off, I've got about a minute's probably worth of this level, so go ahead and read a couple donations.
We've got plenty for you. Say, first off, Leah25 says, greetings from Scotland. First-time donation as I only recently discovered GDQ. I'm blown away by the skill and creativity of the runners and by the sheer generosity of the watchers. Keep up the good work. Also, Carlito NSP says, I donated for Spike Vegeta because he has a great haircut. Shoutouts to TriHex.
I was thinking about again, mid-air movement is bad. Go for it. I'm just bad.
Okay. Say, Aiden173 says, had to donate during Spike's run. Him and Puexel playing through FF9 made me fall in love with speedrunning. Good luck with the run.
So here we are on the next screen. Actually, my positioning and where I punch that guy is what forces him to move forward. His hitbox, since he has the higher ground, is a little wonky to get over. All right, so I want to turn on at the rock here.
Note that all of the snow on the ground gives you the same ice physics as those ramps earlier on.
I'm trying to like hover in a certain place there to maximize the distance I get off of that recoil boost. The screen's kind of a tricky one to get an optimized run of. I rarely do. So. Land here. Poop. No, I don't even care. I'm going to waste time and do it again. Land there. Better. Got it. Cool. Thank you. All right, sweet.
That might not have even wasted any time because of how slow it is to crawl underneath those spikes.
Yeah, actually, I probably still saved. I'm going to say 2 seconds.
Yeah, you saved that.
Again, hovering right before it so I get the right jump. This is tricky. No. Okay. We're going to move across here.
As precise as those platforms are, one of the nice things is that when he grabs a ledge and jumps up, Rayman will always kind of land on the platform in front of him, basically on the last pixel. So there are small platforms with spikes and that kind of thing on them that you can actually stand on if you grab the ledge first and then jump straight up.
We don't need the one up. Let's keep going. All right, so Mr. Stone, I'm going to kick it over to Ghoul to explain. This fight used to be like 4 minutes. Now it's not. Go ahead, Ghoul.
Yeah, so the reason he's letting me take care of this is because there's actually a soft lock in this fight if he doesn't do this right. But basically, you're supposed to kind of wait for it to spawn these quads so you can go up and hit that giant rock and hit him in the head. But as you see right there, he's able to kind of damage boost and then jump on top of the rocks that he uses to attack with. So get up to the head again and hits, you see right there. And every one of these has like a different timing, different positioning, different ways of getting up to the top. So basically, he's able to skip just a ton of cycles and hit this guy way more often than he's supposed to be able to.
Imagine every 30 seconds I get a hit. I've already had 5. This is the hardest hit. Let's see if we can get it. Got it. Nice.
So if he screws this up, he actually can knock this boss off screen if he hits him in midair. And it basically turns into kind of a light soft lock because he knocks him out of bounds, and the guy has to go all the way across off screen to come back around.
I needed to delay that as long as I could because I needed him to actually shoot out that cloud. If I had not done that, then he would have still done that walk across. He would just run me over. I would have taken a hit, and I wouldn't have been able to hit him back. So I needed to delay it long enough for him to actually spit out the cloud and then hit him, which makes the timing pretty tight. But with that, honestly, Marsh and I have talked about this. That's one of our favorite parts of the entire run. Again, cut off 3 minutes right there. So much creativity and jumping off of those. Basically, just imagine I'm just mashing through those to jump, get hit, hover because I'm mashing X, and then jump off of it to throw the punch.
It's one of the few boss fights in this game where you're pretty much doing something at all times.
Yeah.
A lot of the boss fights, it's kind of standing still in a specific position to manipulate the boss, but now when you actually are basically moving the entire time.
So now we can finally run, Kratz. All right. So now we're going to be going back and cleaning up, I think it's 4 levels. Didn't quite get the right damage boost there. That's fine. Throw the punch, jump up, spawning it, and then it'll be right on top of it. At 1 health here, need to be a little careful. As you can see, these rock shards are starting to come up, so you need to kind of just keep track of them. Especially when I'm coming back over here. Okay, we're good. I don't trust that on 1 health. I'm going to stop there. We're
Yeah,
get some health right here.
Barely get over that guy, but it's pretty risky to do on 1 health.
This is one of the 2 dumbest design jumps in the entire game. Oh my God.
Wow, first try. It looks ridiculously easy. That was the intended way for him to do that jump.
Right.
And Ghoul and I spent a few minutes trying to do that.
We tried to do this for a while, and neither of us could get it once. I don't think I even got particularly close. It's really dumb.
We just assumed, we were trying to do a sequence break or something and we were being bad, but that's actually the intended way of doing that jump, and it's only a few pixels of leeway.
Yeah, so we're assuming it's kind of like the whole Solgren thing where they tried it once, said, oh, it works.
Yeah.
It can't be that hard if we got it first try. And no, it's awful.
For both that and another jump I'll mention much later in the run, they apparently figured that out when they made the PC version of this, and they just added another ring in between those. So you tell they figured it out. Once again, you need all 102 cages to beat this game. So it's almost amazing that the PlayStation 1 version of this game is actually completable.
So why do you run the PlayStation 1 version, Spike, instead of the PC version?
Just the version I have. PC version's got a lot of differences. The biggest thing is it has the cage placement is completely different. To note, there's lots of subtle differences with this game across all different platforms. Let me try to time this right.
It's also been ported to just about everything known to man.
Yeah, as most of the Rayman series is. You can play this game on, obviously you can see PS1, you can play it for the PC. They made it for the Game Boy Advance. Don't play that version.
I think it's on the Atari Jaguar.
Atari Jaguar. It's got the Sega Saturn version. The Atari Jaguar version, actually, so all the slippery slopes that I was going off of, they don't actually have ice physics. So, yeah, those levels suck. But yeah, just lots of little subtle differences.
Right. And actually, I believe a lot of the community is European, so a lot of them run it on emulators since PAL differences with the US version. And it's a bit tricky to get a US PlayStation in Europe.
You can start to see all the movement tech is starting to come together in this game. Like running, doing a small hop in order to get a double powered punch. Because again, jump punches or air punches are double powered and have the double the length. Just dropping out of a hover by punching. You start to see all this movement tech coming together. Dude,
nice.
That's sick. That's actually really tight to get. And then I'm going to backwards damage boost there, setting me up for this. Okay, we're good. This is always a really wonky screen for me. Throw that up, get rid of that. Falling down will spawn this last cage. And then we can punch this one. And again, almost every level, except for I think just the last 2 levels of the game, have these exit signs on just the first screen. So it makes for some pretty quick backtracking. This is one of the 2 or 3 hardest tricks in the game.
Got it.
Nice.
You can only grab the tan part of that.
I was not expecting to get that first try. All right, sick. All right, cool. We got that. It's all based off of very specific positioning on the ground, getting a specific speed off of those. I'm actually like, you have to, because like, I'll just show you. Bam, you punch that, it just falls straight down. So you need to actually get all the way on the right upper corner of it and then punch it from that side over the water and then get the right, like if you hit it at the right angle, it'll have good speed going backwards and you can just set it up right. You then, once you get on top of the plum right before the big jump, I need to start my run back up again to get a little extra momentum and height to actually make it all the way over to that.
How much time does that save?
Close to a minute. It's pretty obnoxious getting to there normally.
So a lot of this screen is basically just hoping you don't miss cycles.
Yeah. Probably going to be quiet during this screen as well. Actually, do you have a lot of donations, Cosmic?
We've got a few that we can go through.
Here, we'll go ahead. I'll get through this screen, and then there's another longer auto scroller after this that you can then do those off during. I'm almost done with this. Whiffed it. Doesn't matter. I usually like to wait here anyways, just because these platforms, if you go too fast, he's in the middle of moving those.
Yeah, this area's a bit nerve-wracking to go through just because there are just giant pits underneath a lot of moving platforms. So.
Okay, here, start my run back up. Okay, cool, got up to it. So we're through that screen. What was I going to say? No, actually, yeah, I'll explain that later. Just go for donations.
All right, Team 56 donated $50 saying, "Greetings from South Korea. I started watching the live stream since AGQ 2015 and loved it, so I'm crashing lots of time into SGQ as well. Let's make the High-Low 3 legendary happen and kill the animals this time." Also, Molo Mulo donated $10 and said, "You guys are amazing. SGQ is a fantastic event, and I'm having a great time watching. It's all for a wonderful cause. Get that Rayman spike." Tatsumi Jin donated $10 saying, "First time donate, second time watching, decide to donate 10 now to Spike Vegeta. Love you singing in KH2 and run at AGDQ. Will donate again later during Kingdom Hearts run." We'll throw in one last one here. Toothache here donating for another great cause. Seriously impresses me the dedication everyone puts into the speedruns and the event itself. This donation goes towards a link to the past 100% run, my favorite of the Zelda series. Keep all the great work, and that was for $30.
Also, I guess I'm going to go ahead and mention one quick donation incentive I recommend you guys donate for. If there are any like random runner's choice, you can put it towards it as well. Make sure you donate for Shovel Knight Low Percent by our good friend Munchakoopas. That's pretty darn impressive to watch. Okay, whiffed on that. You can actually grab the edge of that little mini platform right there. This is a fun screen to get to do, but obviously pretty hard to optimize with all the ice physics and everything you got to do. Again, you're seeing just instances there where I am implementing the hover ability, and it's not losing me time. I'm maintaining the momentum going into it.
Yeah, there's one trick coming up pretty soon that you'll really see that happen, and hopefully Spike gets it first try.
Ooh. We're going to have to take the road.
Oh, not
Dude,
quite.
screw it. I'm going back once. I don't even care. I'm going to come in 45 minutes over estimate, but I'm going to get it. Is that actually okay?
There we go.
There it is.
There we
Okay.
go.
Again, recoil boosting is pretty violent in this game. We're Tiny Rayman. Yay. I'm so glad we're almost done with it.
Yeah, so Tiny Rayman's actually based on just when he hits one of those, what do you call them, wizards?
Well, yeah, wizards,
Yeah,
fairies, whatever.
Yeah, one of them right there. Switching between Tiny and Big is just by touching one of those. Later on, you'll see that he'll actually get Mini at one point and just wait and touch the same fairy and after it's able to be touched.
Yeah,
again.
it's got like a cooldown on it. You'll might have noticed a fairy back there that I avoided. That's just a troll fairy. If you accidentally run into that and you have too much momentum going, then you'll just jump in the pit and die. That guy is an absolute, like, I won't say anything bad, never mind.
He's a jerk.
He's a jerk. He's like the best offensive lineman in this game. To get past those guys, you normally just have to kill them. They'll just infinitely knock you back like jerks. But if you like throw your punch and jump right at the same time, then his AI tells him to duck underneath it so you can confuse him and go back and get over him. So right here, you might think like, why didn't I take that exit sign right there? Is there more stuff later on in this level? There's a boss, but we don't have to fight him. In order to get to the final level, which you can see over there on the right side, Mr. Dark's Dare, all the game checks for is that you got all the cages. So there's like a probably close to 4-minute boss fight I skipped by just not going there.
Does anybody actually do a category where they fight that boss, or is it
Yep,
just...
Mr. Sax % is his name.
So again, to repeat about the kind of ring physics, if he's holding left or right when he's jumping out of the rings, it's actually going to increase his height that he gets out of it, whereas if he's holding up or down, it's going to increase the horizontal distance he gets when he jumps out of it. So sometimes you'll see that he'll actually be swinging kind of slowly, but making sure he gains a lot of height, whereas most of the time he's actually going to be going for a lot of distance.
And if one of you wants to explain like why I left there, this is one of the scariest, if not the scariest screen in the game. If you want to explain why I exited out of the level right there.
Yeah, so when you die, we mentioned before, you kind of lose your fist power-ups and lose all your teens and everything. The fist power-ups, actually, if you leave the level and come back...
Without actually finishing
Without
it.
finishing it, you'll get the fist power-ups back. So sometimes after Spike will die, either intentionally or unintentionally, if he needs those power-ups, he'll actually just immediately leave the level and come back.
Right. This is a really difficult level because if he ever bonks into the ceiling, he'll lose all of his horizontal momentum, which, as you can see, would cause him to just miss a platform.
You can kind of see there, I just like dead-ended in midair because I went a little too high.
That cycle is basically a god cycle, so it's pretty common to miss it.
Just wait there.
And again, hitboxes are weird, so he has to be super safe around the larger spikes.
Yeah. Like, honestly, like that might have looked like that was like super slow or anything. That's only about 3 seconds slower than you can possibly do it at. All right, let's see if we can hit this hitbox right here. Didn't quite hit it. Yeah,
almost.
it is like the far like bottom left corner. You can hit that without having to wait that cycle and actually spawn that fairy. Again, a couple seconds, not a big deal. The biggest thing about this game is damage control because it's really easy to have 1-minute mistakes in this game, and I've done so far pretty good about avoiding that. Cool, we at least made that cycle, which is actually really hard with Tiny Rayman. You need super clean movement through that bottom section.
Knock on wood. On the whole no 1-minute mistakes.
Please, God.
The sitting on 4 lives here is actually pretty good. He'd probably like to be on 1 or 2 more, but...
Only one unintentional. So that goes ahead and shows you right there, by the way, always punch that guy. Like, only one unintentional death. I've been getting like 1,000,000 lives, and I'm at 4 right now. Just so much death abusing. Time for some sub-pixel fun.
First try.
Yeah. Good job, video game.
I've seen him go at that sometimes for like a minute, just, okay, charge up the punch, throw, nope, charge up the punch, nope. Throw.
Yeah, it looks really simple. Rayman can look like he's in the exact same position on the screen, and he's actually not, according to the game, and cannot reach that cage.
Yeah, I think last night I got it like 4th or 5th try, so...
It was bad.
It was... I cried. Super scary spot. All right, you want to hover under this. Again, you're dealing with spikes that are right above bouncy platforms. Walking off of this should line it up to where I get up to there. That's good. Oh, gotta catch this cycle. Am I gonna get hit by this guy? I'd rather not. Yeah, we're gonna get hit. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Whatever.
Again, this is basically the point of the game where you want to be keeping an eye on Spike's health up in the top left corner. It's going to go down to 1 a lot.
Normally, if I don't get hit by that idiot back there, I'll just like damage boost through this little section. But obviously, I had to kind of slowly hover. Oh, Tiny Rayman's terrible.
You see how much slower Tiny Rayman runs than normal Rayman. It's a little bit less when he's on that those like inky ice platform.
He has the potential to go, I think, just as fast. Is that right, Spike? Or is
Yeah,
it almost
right
as fast?
there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but gaining the momentum to do that and keeping it, especially, is really hard.
Yeah, you just feel like you're running through mud when you're Tiny Rayman. Thankfully, we're almost done with him. Here's another place of kind of practical RNG.
It's game has so many just bizarre things in it sometimes.
Notice how everything in this game has eyeballs. Literally, the wall has eyeballs. Sick. All right, we're through that. Now, it's very important that I have 4 health at this point. Hopefully, I don't get trolled by... There's one instance of actual RNG in this game that actually matters for the run. And there's these 2 little enemies I have to beat first. The first one, strat's pretty cool. I call it keep him in the corner and mash. Sick. Cool fight. All right, so now this idiot, he is RNG, like his bomb spray patterns. Oh, this is good. Oh, because that was really good because he put it all on the right side. Normally, he'll throw it and it's just covering the entire ground, and you're going to take a hit. The reason why 4 health is important is because I'm actually going to be using 3 damage boosts on this boss. Normally, once again, kind of like Mr. Stone, this fight normally takes forever. There's a lot of just like wasted scripted parts. But, however, for whatever reason, if I get flush with the wall and then jump into her, she actually damage boosts me up to her height. Her hurt box is only available when she reaches the top, like right there.
And stops moving.
And stops moving. Her sprite has to be at a complete stop. So like right now, her hitbox is not available. So right now we're already like super far into the fight, like farther than you're supposed to be.
I believe there's a soft lock on this fight if you do something wrong. At the
Yeah.
end,
So we're gonna pray. I don't know. We might come in like 30 minutes underestimate if I soft lock here. So. All right.
Yeah, at the very end, he has to make sure that all the knives are in the specific spot before he damages the boss.
All right. All right. So here it is.
I believe in you, Spike.
Okay. Okay, we're good.
there we go.
No soft lock.
Basically, all those knives have to be either moving or off screen, I believe.
Yeah. Basically, imagine if you look at the 4 knives. So you notice I waited a lot longer on that damage boost. If she gets off screen before the 4 knives get on screen, Rayman never starts dancing. And if he doesn't dance, I guess the game's not happy, and it just kills you instead. Too bad. What I'm trying to do is like, that's a really common death right there. Just a small optimization. Okay, yeah. Again, you see me try to kind of like hover into place. Yep.
Again, using that kind of boomerang effect.
Normally, like, because I only had 1 health here before, it would have just been an instant death there. Still a little faster, just go ahead and do that.
Again, he's been getting lives everywhere. We're down to 2.
Yeah. And 2 unintentional deaths.
This game can be really punishing.
Oh, I'm just being difficult
Cool.
casual.
Okay, that movement is actually super tight to not get hit by that hunter. All right.
I've got a quick donation that I think you enjoy if I can.
Of course.
Okay, we got $50 from Maya. Says, hey guys, I'm Ubi Maya from the Rayman team in Montpellier, France. It's always a pleasure to see our limbless guy on SGQ. Thank you. All my tings belong to you.
Who was that from?
One of the developers of Rayman, part of the development team for
Oh,
Rayman.
That's awesome.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you for video game. Again, we're using a Fruit Loop boost there and then hovering to maintain that momentum. Instead of having, normally you have to spawn a bunch of other rings and then ride those across, but instead we can just fling down to the end there.
And again, that hovering ability only has a certain amount of time unless it's on a screen where he can use it to move upwards. So he actually needs to make sure he's getting a specific angle or he'll run out of hover.
All right, so again, Rayman's hitbox is tiny.
You'll see him when he's hovering like that. He'll throw a punch to drop if he needs to drop quickly. It's just a faster way of getting down.
I want to once again tell you guys, Rayman's hitbox is tiny.
Thank you, developers.
Also, sometimes if you get there at a bad timing, those pencils will actually spawn in different timings, meaning they're both going inwards towards one another, so you can't get past it, you just die. It's pretty sick. All right, so from here, there's 2 places I'm always going to take damage, unless I just want to go really slow. One right here. Like, I'm not hovering down through all that crap. Also, this music is so good.
The music in this game in general is really good.
I'm over like bouncy platforms with spikes. So I have 2 hits of leeway. This guy's cool. All right, sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of times where Spike will damage boost while crouching, and that's just because crouching is incredibly slow. He'll either damage boost to avoid crouching or damage boost to avoid having to stop crouching.
Yeah, to like, you know, you would have to go all the way backwards there to not get hit by the little, I think those are called dark tunes?
Anti-tunes.
Anti-tunes.
There's, oh, come on, dude. How evil is this game, right? You just went through all that, and then they're going to spawn a cage right below you as you're running into the exit sign.
Is there even like a visual cue that, oh, hey,
Nope.
let's spawn something? Or
There's
it's
an
just like,
audio.
You just see the spikes. You don't see the cage. All right, so I'm going to miss this trick real quick. All right, let's see. Yeah, okay, cool.
So this screen is kind of really evil, and all of these basically force you to bounce up, and you need to move down. So if you're ever slightly off, you'll just get shot up to the top of the screen.
Yeah, you can save like 5 to 10 seconds there by clipping down where I was trying to. But effectively, you need to like throw in a quick hover right as you're bouncing also. And then if you throw in a quick hover, then you will actually deaden yourself there, and you'll be able to just get down to the cage super fast. I've gotten it like 5 times ever or so. But worth pointing out.
yeah, as you mentioned, this game actually is going to look, there's the guy working on the tasks for this, and it's going to be a really, really cool task. Just, there's so many strats that you just can't do in real time in this game.
Let's see here. What happens if I drop right here? You die? I think we're going to have to just die. That's all right. We're just gonna... Oh, there's a thing down there, dude.
Dude, they actually like thought of something to not like be evil. The developers actually do like you, Spike.
All right, that's fine. I whiffed a little bit on that jump. That's totally fine to this point. All right, so you'll notice I'm walking off this edge. If you run, you die. You end up flying straight into the pencils, and it's not a good thing. Okay, so a little bit of time lost there, no problem. Here I'm going to skip this entire section by jumping right at the edge and then just hovering underneath all of it, maintain my momentum going straight into the exit sign. So, all right, we good. All right, Space Mama's Crater. That's going to make one trick here in the first level a little harder. Hopefully I can still get it. Because, again, that death being unintentional, I am now down a little bit of fist power up. I don't have a quick way to just get it back.
Yeah, he did get back to 5 health, though, very quickly, just because there was a health power-up right along the way.
A lot of it's just, like, timing your deaths in a not bad place.
I don't believe you need to get the fist power up anywhere to actually do anything. It just makes things a lot more difficult. Spike, can correct me if I'm wrong there.
This is actually an instance. There's a trick I could have gone for on the next screen that saves about 9 seconds. It's also the hardest trick in the game, so it's not a big deal that I'm not going to be able to go for it. It's just, again, it's timing when you lose them. There are some cases, for the most part, like, what I worry about is not having the health for all the damage boosts and whatnot, more so than the fists in most cases. It's usually, like, an alternative strat that's not much slower. Let's try this again. Land here. All these are inky. All right, land there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a super hard trick to get. All right, let's try it again. The hitbox is pretty tiny. It always wants to hit the yin-yang ball instead. All right. Okay, there it is.
There we go.
That's super tiny window.
Second try, not bad at all.
Yeah, I'll take it, whatever. There's been so many things first try, I'm like, all right, sick, good job, game. You can tell, like, when you lose one fist power-up, also sick cage placement, right? Okay. There's just so many instances where being down one fist power-up, all of a sudden everything looks like you are barely punching it. You'll see, I'm not going to be surprised if I die on this screen. Okay. See?
Yep. And we're already down to 0 lives, so.
And it is like a genuine accomplishment to not game over in this game. Everything's so much harder now. Yep.
Ooh, good recovery, though.
So this is what rings can be when they're evil. So we're just riding across here. We're just having a good time. Welcome to my Let's Play. All right, sick. How's everyone doing? SGQ 2015.
Yeah.
Woo! Dude, nice. Alright, gonna jump off right there and then let myself hover all the way. That sets you up perfectly to go there, to get all the way up there. Frame perfect? No. Okay. There's a frame perfect trick you can do there if you jump off at the right time. That puts you right over those spike balls. Generally, when I get it, which is pretty rare, I am not expecting it, so I'll just be like, all right, going, oh crap, and then just go straight into spikes anyways and losing that time. So.
Sitting on 1 health again.
Yeah, that's a really well-placed power-up right there.
Yeah.
Anti-tunes are cool.
And
Once
there-
again, walking off this edge sets you up in the same way. So, and don't grab the ledge? No. All right. You're going to be seeing me do a lot of little sequence breaks on this screen right here. Normally they want you to go up and to the left, but instead, we're going to damage boost. We're going to land here. As soon as it reaches the top, okay, let's try it again. Okay, we're able to catch that. That skipped a lot over on the other side. And then I'm going to spawn this, not catch that platform there because you're faster than that is. This is a safety save. J-Hobbs can make fun of me if he wants.
I think Spike says he's going to take about 3 safety saves, and he said make sure to give him crap for every single one.
Again, hovering to get max height there. Coming up here, spawn the cage, come back over. Catch the cloud spawn, which is on a random cycle. All the clouds have different timings. Some of them are based on when you touch them, they'll disappear. Some of them are bouncy ones. Some of them will just be on specific timing. Blah! Again, that's why I take that safety save there. Trying to save those frames.
Again, he was starting to get up towards 100 pings and already shot back down to 0. So that's why some of these unintentional deaths can be really punishing, because it's almost like you lost 2 lives if you're about to get another one.
Hear that ting? Yep, going back.
Yeah, the audio cue is really the only thing you have to tell you that a cage might have spawned. Because it could be spawning anything. It could be spawning enemies.
Found by Marsh Fighter Paladin. Hold jump and hold punch. And that will give you an infinite, because when you're holding, when you punch off the rings and you're still holding jump, you automatically let go. And so when you let go, your fist automatically comes back to you, and you just repeatedly keep punching and you keep gaining height. So there's some cool ways you can basically elevator your way up.
He's going to be using that a little bit later, too, on several rings in a row, and one of the best tricks in the game. That you're going to nail first try, right, Spike?
Right. I'm actually going to have to go for it after the run, because now I don't have the fist power up to do it, but I'll go for it, yeah. I've got a save set up just in case for that, because I had that unintentional death. So this is Space Mama. Casually, she's pretty garbage. I remember I got stuck on this boss for like an hour. That was bad. What you're looking for here, speed tech wise, you can either listen for her audio cue, or you can wait for it. So like right here. That's when you want to hit her, because that will actually cancel out her attack animation every time, saving about 4 seconds. Right there, I attack her as soon as possible, because once she gets down to 7 health, then it just automatically sends her to this phase, so it cancels it out by itself. You either want to go off the audio cue for when to cancel her attack, or just when her sprite, once again, comes to a complete stop.
Now, are these scripted positions for these spots? Or
There's a few variances of it based on Rayman's position, but yeah. It's just crouching in the corner is generally a good way to go. Wait.
Yeah, so this is another one of those bosses, kind of like I was saying earlier, where there's a lot of waiting around.
All right, so we're going to get one more hit on her right here, and then we're going to have to fight her. As you can see in the background, she flew in on a washing machine. And it has health. You can actually see it right there in the top right corner of it. You can see it kind of sparkles up when it's ready to get hit again. So it's kind of a weird little technique I'm using to hover into place and then throw the punch right before, both hitting it and dropping me down as fast as it can. right before, because she's throwing in that little energy blast at the most awkward time. I'm actually hitting all of these so far, and perfect. Sick. Nice. Okay. So now we just got to do 4 more phases with her. Oh, I'm bad. Her hitbox is a little wonky.
Would you mind if we came in through with a pretty big donation?
Of course, go for it.
Okay, we got $1,000 from Vooligen.
Very nice, dude.
He tells us, hey everyone, I have the great privilege of joining my friends Brexel and Essentia for a Chrono Trigger run to end this marathon. In recognition of my friendship with them, I want to name Luca and Robo as follows. Just saw this. Luca as Demon and Robo as Choco. Followers of the Demon Chocobo, now is the time of your return. Join me in bringing about the resurrection of our great Savior.
So everybody, please donate for that.
Yes. So for those that don't know, Demon Chocobo is a menu option in Final Fantasy VI that we use to kind of mess with the runners of the game at marathons.
All right, so this is one of the hardest tricks in the game as well. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, we got like half of it. That's still
Not bad,
fine.
not bad.
So if I didn't die on the last screen, I would be going for, I would actually intentionally die just to try to show something off. I've got it set up in a save file, so if we come in enough underestimate, I will try to showcase that afterwards. But just lots of usage of Fruit Loop boosting here. And again, I'm holding jump through all these so that I'm keeping my height and keeping my speed, as opposed to like just like slowly rocking across each of them. That jump always scares me. That's such a bad placement of that spike ball. Okay, cool. All right, so we got through the screen. Again, I'll try to show that off later, the full extent of that. You can't do the full thing, like going all the way across the room, since you have to stop and grab those 2 cages. But we'll see what happens. This is another tough screen. There's a couple of just really tricky spots. Hopefully I can get a damage boost coming up. Oscillation, cool. Sometimes if you're in just the wrong part of Rayman's run animation there, which by the way sounds like a horse galloping, then you will get hit no matter, you'll get hit no matter what. Good to be at 5 health here. There's a life down there I could grab if I wanted a health refill, but we're good.
You don't need it.
Not. We're still trying to avoid the game over, dude. All right, so here's the damage boost. I need to like jump away from the wall and back into the wall in this, like, within just a couple of frames. No. Let's try it again. We get one more try. Dang it, dude. Oh well. So we're gonna have to take the slow route here, which can sometimes be a little scarier than the regular way, or than the damage boost way. But that's fine. That would have just skipped having to like go over and fight those guys. Jumping back out over here, so I can actually spawn this top cloud up here. Normally what the game wants you to do is jump on that bottom cloud that rides you across, and that spawns it and runs it over, but you can just reach the hitbox if you jump out and to the right like that. Okay, so we're gonna be grabbing this cage here, and then I'm gonna be like, so there's a couple of different Fruit Loops in this game. There's the pink one that we've been going off of, and there's the red ones. The red ones are evil. You never want to touch those. Oh, paying attention to that. Okay, cool. We caught that cycle anyways. I'm actually going to be, like, this is the exact same speed, but I'm just trying to avoid having to touch the red ring.
So, what's bad about the red rings?
They go down when you touch them at first. So if you get in a bad spot, then you're just dead. All right, we're trying to line these up. Okay, cool. Again, trying to get max height off of those. I missed it the first time, which meant I had to wait a little bit. That's cool. 3 health is okay for this situation. I'll hopefully be getting a health refill, or at least up to 4 health on the next screen. Kind of. I'm sure you're like, okay, where am I going to go? Sick. All right, so this is probably, for a lot of people, the hardest level in the game casually, Eat at Joe's. Just a lot of really evil screens.
Shoutouts to one of the best level names ever, though.
come in with a real quick donation?
Go for it.
Say, K-Spice donate $100 saying, hey guys, working from home up in Canada so I don't miss the action. Big fan of the GDQs. This year is looking great. Looking forward to the Metroid and Mega Man block later today. Spike Vegeta is right. Let's get that Shovel Knight low percent going and, of course, kill the animals. So please, we need to get that Shovel Knight low percent.
Gimmick of this screen is that the Firefly, or at least the light, is following your fist, not actually Rayman. So what you normally do casually is you just like inch up, throw your fist forward, see what's ahead of you. But obviously, if you've played this game a few hundred or 1,000 times, then you remember the level layout. There's a lot of oh, okay, that's fine.
Didn't need it.
Didn't need it. All right, we're gonna be able to hover into this. It's gonna make the next screen a lot trickier. So yeah, as I was trying to say there, there's a lot of depth below that plane. Pretty much no matter what you do, you're going to end up running into a hit right here. All right, so. That's too bad, I haven't missed that in a while. So, at one hit, okay, I'm gonna have to make some jumps, okay? Which is pretty difficult to ask me to do, but we'll be able to recover. Fruit boost off of that. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to spawn these guys right here, and then I'm actually going to wait till Rayman fully stands up, and then I keep going. It's just to make sure they're out of the way by the time you get here and start this cycle. Otherwise, they would have gotten in my way. Okay, so we're going to have to do some kooky maneuvering here. Let that go by. Okay, we made that jump. Okay, yeah. All right, we're going to grab that one up there for the safety since I had no health to work with. Okay, we're through the scary part there. Had to take things, unfortunately, a little slow. All right, so this is the other point in the game where I describe it as just, like, I don't know. Somehow, like, they intended you to do this, like, frame-perfect fling off of this, but because of tether boosting, we're able to make that a lot more doable. Again, in the PC version... they intend for you to have to, or they give you another ring right there in between, making that obviously free. That is the reason that it's amazing you're able to actually complete this video game, at least on the PlayStation 1 version. We're gonna Fruit Loop boost again, over to here. Don't want to take too much damage through this section because we're going to be damage boosting on the next screen as well a couple of times, 2 to 3 times. So ideally I don't get hit again. Jump out here. Spawn both the exit sign and once again the cage. Just expect if you see the exit sign, there's probably a cage nearby.
So what happens if you accidentally touch that exit sign without getting the cage?
That's a lot of time. Because I have to, like, if you miss a screen on the first, or if you miss a cage on the very first screen, it's not that bad. You just have to re-enter the level and come back in, and you can get it. But if you miss it on anything that's not the first screen, then you have to replay the entire level, which, as you can see, Ida Joe's another super long level. So that would be a couple minutes down the drain. So ideally, we don't do that. Nice little one-up right there. Not more so than the health, or than the life. It gives you the health. All right, so the next screen's an auto-scroller, so Cosmic, you can go for donations if you want right here.
Oh, we've got plenty. Say, first we have $30 from Marlord saying, amazing run for an amazing game from my childhood, holding my breath on every jump. Greetings from France. So Gruntlock sends $10 saying, first-time watcher, it's an awesome event for a great cause. If it wasn't for work and sleep, I'd probably watch all day. Greetings from Germany. Also, we have $100 from Chris126 saying, donating during Spike's run. Thanks for the great commentary and fantastic Spike. Also, we have $10 from Kuros Kai, who says, love what you all do. Twice a year getting an overdose of nostalgia, but with way more style than I played originally. Keep up all the good work. We'll get one last one in here from Kohler saying, thanks to all the talented runners, tech staff, and organizers, GDQ keeps getting better and better each year, and I hope that another GDQ will be held in Minnesota so I can volunteer next time around. Keep the donations coming, everyone. Please do keep the donations, and we are getting everybody's donations. It's just that we don't have time to read them all on air, but we've got a lot of great incentives you can donate for.
This next screen was probably, it's the last screen of Eat at Joe's, and it was probably the hardest screen for me casually, getting across all this. If I keep my speed all the way through and make a few jumps, shouldn't be too bad though. Okay, we have to wait here. I wait for 2 bumps. When I'm about to hit this blue spike, that's when I have the clear to jump back over. Throw that back, catching it as it's respawning spawning off screen. Go, go, go. Don't catch the fish. Okay, we need to let this go. Crouch underneath the jerk. Okay, we made it. Don't really want to admit how many of those jumps I missed. All right, so this is the last level before the actual last level where I need to grab cages. So jump up here, spawn that cage, come over here, hit this cage. I need to jump as soon as I can because this cloud's about to be spawned from me standing on it. Hover into place, punch the cage. We're going to be using a couple of Fruit Loop boosts coming up here in tandem with tether boosting. One right here. Make this long. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. All right.
Yeah,
I'm actually not going to elect to grab the safety there. Yeah. Just because J-Hobbs is in the room. Which means I'm probably going to die right here.
Oh, you could.
All right, we didn't die. All right, but we're not out of the clear yet. There's a lot of screen left. All right, now I need to turn back to the left. All right. I was normally supposed to grab a damage boost there, but that only wastes a few seconds. And that's the last cage. We have all 102 now. Now if I'm not... Okay, we're not going to catch that. Ignore that I was about to say something about going faster. All right, these red guys are jerks, so I'm going to be using another tether boost here to try to get on top of this guy.
Don't need that one up.
Okay, cool. We got through the screen. All right.
Nice.
That's one of the most demanding screens in the game. There's one damage boost I missed there. Other than that, that was really, really good. All right, I hate this boss. So what's nice, if you want to be a PC runner of this game, which there are none of to our knowledge yet, you actually don't have to fight this boss. Similar to how I skipped Mr. Sax earlier in the game, you can just get all 6 of those cages because you notice that was on the first screen. And then you can just jump in the water and go out the exit sign. For whatever reason, the PlayStation 1 version didn't get an exit sign on this or the last level.
So out of curiosity, those platforms fall randomly?
They are, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different patterns they can take. I've seen them enough to where I know after the first one drops which one will go next.
And to note, this actually isn't quite the boss fight yet, and
Yeah,
pretty
there's
much
2
the
phases.
only indicator of that is that there's no health in the bottom left corner.
Sometimes I can be bad and get sniped here as I'm about to jump up. This is not random. It always goes top, middle, or, yeah, top, middle, bottom. Okay, we didn't get sniped there. I'm walking. It might look like I'm just like, I don't know, just walking forward like being silly. But I actually, if you run into this idiot, you bounce back like a million years in measurement units. You will die if you run into him. So now's the actual boss fight. It's another one of those where the first time you do it, you're going to die because you're like, ah, what is he doing? What is he doing? He's not following, like those homing missiles are not following you. They're, once again, they're following your fist. So the first time you're just getting bodied by this idiot. Kind of one of the more dull fights in way of speed tech, but it's one of the fastest fights. It's probably, actually it is the fastest boss fight in the game, so not a big deal. He goes 2 hits, waste a hit, 1 hit, waste a hit, 1 hit, until the last 2. Also, I guess if you look at the background, we're in Agrabah all of a sudden.
Yeah, and again, not really any speed tech to explain, just hitting the blue orb as soon as possible.
And he gets really close to you here. I'd rather not take the damage. Okay, cool. All right, so now we are through all 17 levels. We have all 102 cages. It's time to actually go to the final level. Again, a lot of people, I know blinds of this take like 10 hours without getting any of the cages and having infinite lives. So and that's more so, like, it's not to pump me up, but just to showcase like how hard it is casually just to find any cages in this game. But here we are, Mr. Dark's Dare, and for whatever reason, we go from all these like dark jury places to the final level being big old birthday cake we're flying through. So cool. All right, so we're riding a frying pan. I almost soft locked this the other day by like landing. Like you want to obviously once again like hit as many down slopes as you can. Right here. Now I'm going to start to pull back. Oh. Basically, because if you're going full speed into there, that's actually a little slower than I meant to go, but if you're going full speed, you will shoot right into that orange goo and you'll die. That's the only like reasonable place to die in there is right at the very end. The current world record holder, the Xterra, not to dog on him, but that's his only death in the game is right there. So you can imagine that being pretty frustrating when you're on such a good run and then losing it right there.
So right here he has Dark Rayman chasing him. Dark Rayman will do everything he does just a little bit after him. So if he jumps in a spot, Dark Rayman will jump. You've seen it. It's in like games like Mario Galaxy later on. It's in other Rayman games, but this is one of the first instances of it. So you see he crawls and paused right where Spike paused. So if he touches him, he will hurt Spike.
And kill me. Yeah, it's a one-shot.
But he's doing your moves, so not too much to worry about with Dark Rayman.
Yeah, as long as you don't like miss a jump somewhere, like on one of those clouds, that's the most common place to die to him.
I've seen Spike die in a lot of places. I don't think I've ever seen him die to Dark Rayman, so.
You do not watch enough of my streams. Okay. So the last major skip of this game is the clown skip right here. I need to walk off this platform in a very specific way. Oh, by the way, what happened right there is he switched my left and right controls. So always fun, little gimmicks like that. Nope. Okay, we're going to set it up again. Ooh, we got this.
There we go.
So, yeah. And this guy always hits me. That's fine. You can see why I'm glad I came in with 5 health, because that's a pretty wonky trick. All right, if you jump off the very edge of this, you'll always be caught by this cloud. And if you jump off the edge of that, you can always just hover right into this. This is my last safety save of the game, because with the left-right controls and the slipperiness of these platforms, and a couple of bomb enemies coming up, I don't really trust this section. I don't want to have to go back and have to do, like, clown skip again and stuff. And right there, the left and right gimmicks stop going. I'm actually, okay.
Pretty much mid-jump almost.
Right, when you're right over a pit. And the gimmick right now is not as bad. Basically, I can't stop running. So, cool gimmick. Now I'm just going to ride this all the way down, keeping momentum, which actually conveniently sends you into a 1-up, refilling our health for the final boss fight. So the final boss is about a minute 30 to 2 minutes. I actually don't know the exact time, so I guess not get ready on time, but I'll give you a better cue coming up soon. So this is Mr. Dark. He's the one who messed with the world and everything, and stole all the Electoons. And you might be sitting here like, all right, epic battle. Let's go, Mr. Dark. Hate to break it to you, but we're actually never going to fight this guy. We're just going to dodge flames, dodge some energy blasts from him, and then we're going to fight some creative bosses here in the last minute.
So as you can kind of see, these flame pillars get closer and closer together over time, and eventually one of these Spike will be jumping over the energy blast that he's sending. There we go, right there, because it's actually harder to move like he's been for all of them and not get hit.
Also, cool hitbox. All right, so now the Electoons, because we saved them all, they are going to in turn help us out. Thanks, buddy. So now we can throw our fist. Mr. Dark is like, peace, and I'm not fighting you. Instead, you're going to fight combinations of the bosses you fought throughout the game. Here, I'm going to try to get triple hits on this guy.
Nice.
1, 2, 3. All right, good. And can we 3-cycle him? Nice. Okay, cool.
Nice.
Here, I'm going to whiff. That's fine. Come down, please. Okay, sweet. You can basically stun lock this idiot. And now, final boss of the game, right?
Yes, you're going to be getting ready on time pretty soon.
Yeah, it's once I get the final hit on this guy. Ooh, a frame perfect. All right,
nice.
So you can get double hits there right when he stands back up. I'm a god. I've got 2. All right, sick. Can we get 3? No. Okay, sick. All right, and time. I'm going to skip the credits here because I actually want to try to go and see if I can show off this one trick real quick. What was the time, by the way? Sweet. All right, good time. What am I doing? It's not in there, dude. They won't read my memory card. All right.
Oh, no.
So you can follow me at twitch.tv/IAteYourPie, and I will show it off at that moment. Well, yeah, I guess just thank you to my boys, J-Hobbs and Ghoul. Neither one of these guys run the game. They're just good friends of mine from other communities, and they both have amazing commentary voices. And thanks for jumping in and helping me out. It's so nice having couch commentary. Thanks to Cosmic for donation stuff. And thank you, ROM and SGDQ staff, for letting me do this run. Thank you to the Euro community. You guys did an amazing job with refining this game. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Spike, for that amazing run. We will be going to a Tiny Build commercial now.